No!
The center of this story is an uber-cool predator who uses one of the most dangerous, yet visually exotic weapons to take his enemies down. You may call him the Second World War Predator, the Cybernetic Predator, or the Pirate Predator, thanks to the eye patch he wears. But whichever name you choose, this used the most advanced form of technology when compared to any other predator in the movie. And more importantly, he seems to be the most efficient with the weapons he uses. And in this video, I am going to explore everything there's to explore the Cybernetic World War Predator, from the enhancements he wears and his eye patch, to the tech and weapons he uses to bring his enemies down. But before I begin, please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons. Those 2 small clicks from you will help us tremendously in bringing you more of these marvelous videos. Let's begin with a little backstory first.
He's going to die.
The setup. This one begins in Florida in the year 1941. Torres, the son of a car mechanic, who isn't great at fixing things but wants to be a pilot. He does learn one lesson from his father though. You learn how to fix your own vehicles, else you cannot even be a good driver, let alone becoming a pilot. A year later, he gets drafted into the US Navy as a fighter pilot, but in Commander Vandenberg, he gets the reflection of his own father, as Vandy wanted Torres to know his vehicle before he could take them up in the air. He was to fix the engine of a rundown fighter to get the right to fly, but that's when they hear loud noises coming from the deck of the aircraft carrier. As Torres and Vandy go up, they discover that they'd been attacked, and a mysterious aircraft had destroyed an entire squadron of US aircrafts. Vandy led a charge with his men on jets, while Torres discovered the engine of a downed plane with a highly dangerous but exotic weapon stuck into the engine. He brings the thing down where his colleague was trying to fix another plane. As the plane's engine was turned on, it generated heat and the weapon got triggered. It had a heat-seeking feature and, much like a harpoon, launched itself into the plane's body. But that's not all. Once latched onto the plane, the other end of this weapon developed jetpacks, broke the ship's hull, and poof! Torres knew how the weapon worked and just how much danger his commander and colleagues were. So, he takes the rundown aircraft and hits the gas. Just like you're gonna hit the like button right about now. The Cybernetic Predator's ship. We've seen several Predator ships across the several live-action movies, but none of them, really none of them, were actually explored in as great detail as the Cybernetic Predator's ship from Killer of Killers. There are several scenes where we get a good look at the Predator ship and what goes on around inside. One of the first things that I noticed was just how durable the ship was from the outside. Just as the Cybernetic Predator takes down one of the jets, the other American fighters turn around to engage whatever was up there. Torres had arrived by now and warned Commander Vandy that going after the ship was a mistake, but he did not listen. And you could not really expect the commander to listen to a rookie pilot, right? However, one of the jets that pursues the attacking ship crashes into it because the Predator ship had its invisibility feature on. The jet simply rams head-on into the ship, and although the jet gets dismantled into a gazillion pieces and more, the Predator ship did not even suffer a scratch. Clearly, it was not to be trifled with, and Commander Vandy was going to learn this the hard way. But it was clear that the ship's exterior was impenetrable, at least, as long as one was using conventional weapons like entire fighter jets. What kind of physical enhancements does the World War Predator have? The very first one of these is the eye patch, which extends to become something of a mask for the World War Predator. Apart from giving him the look of a space pirate from the far future, this eye patch also helps him in controlling several aspects of the ship. Additionally, it helps him with his heat vision. Interesting thing is, a part of the metal pierces the Predator's lower jaw. It also seems connected to the exterior part of the metal, which begs to say that the Predator probably does not remove this eye patch mask thingy. From what I could tell, the mask actually keeps his mouth open at all times. The same seems to be the case with the chest plate he wears. Even that stuff is pretty much a part of his very body. The chest plate also includes a couple of pipes, which seem to penetrate into his body, possibly supplying him with some kind of energy, or they may also be supporting his body in some way. Maybe it helps him stay upright. You see, they never show what's beneath his torso. Maybe he's got no legs, and that's why he chooses to fly a ship to hunt his targets, instead of doing what predators usually do. What do you think? More on this later. Does he have a protective coating on his hands? Well, in one of the early scenes where he is featured, he tries to lock on one of the US jets before firing his weapon. Here, you can see that his is covered in some sort of transparent coating. There's this small metal covering on the back of his hand along with the wrist gauntlet, and this protective coating makes way for these add-ons, but his bare skin, apart from his fingers, are covered in this coating. Of course, it must exist to protect him from the various cosmic variables like heat, cold, pressure, etc. Because, the Predator travels huge distances, and more often than not, the places he visits are not very welcoming. No dreadlocks. Another strange thing that I noticed about the World War Predator is that he lacks his dreadlocks. It is almost as if someone had been chopping them off. Maybe it is he who is doing it. Usually, predators would not do such a thing because dreadlocks are not like human hair. If you cut the dreadlocks, it hurts bad. Almost like if someone chopped your fingers off. However, sometimes dreadlocks of younger predators like younglings are cut off as a form of punishment, but the Cybernetic Predator is not an adolescent. In fact, these fleshy outgrowths also help the predators with reflexes and balance because they are basically sensory organs. Keeping this in mind, it is possible that our guy probably does not feel pain, which could be the result of his cybernetic nature, and the next two entries will further prove this point. Does he have no legs? Is he somewhat disabled? As I was saying, they never show what's beneath his torso. Maybe he's got no legs, and that's why he chooses to fly a ship to hunt his targets instead of doing what predators usually do. And the blink and you miss it scene where they actually show a bit of what's underneath his torso, all we see is more metal, more enhancements, more support. If he indeed is disabled in some manner, then that would make him a first of his kind. I mean, we have had all sorts of predators in the comics, including one that has 4 arms. The 4-armed Predator once fought Royce and Isabel from the Predators movie. But I digress. Coming back to our story, it seems that the World War Predator probably lost his legs or the ability to use them at some point in time, and now depends on his upper body to get through his long but adventurous days. In fact, all this makes me wonder, is he a part of his ship? In the scene right after Vandy's ship explodes, you can see a few cables behind the Predator which seem to follow his movements, and it seems that the cables actually go inside his body, connecting him to the ship. I am inclined to think that his body is a part of the ship, which also explains why he never leaves his ship throughout the story, and why he is able to fly in such a proficient manner, although I must agree he could have simply been a good pilot. Either way, the Cybernetic Predator is super dependent on his ship, and probably cannot do anything without it. Does extreme light blind him? We know very well that predators use heat vision for most of their hunting, but Killer of Killers proves that extremely bright light blinds them. In the movie, there were 2 instances where this happened. First, when Torres kicks down a burning weapon from the wing of his plane, the Predator's heat-seeking harpoon goes after the weapon, which blasts on impact, and we see the Predator covering his eyes. The next time this happened was when the Predator killed Commander Vandy. Again, same reaction. Now, this could be used as a weakness against predators. The reason could be that despite having a multi-star system, the Predator homeworld called Yautja Prime is covered in thick smog, and the sunlight does not reach properly, making the sky dim yellow. Even if they did not show Yautja Prime in Killer of Killers, they did show the sky in Aliens vs Predator, Requiem. It used to not be canon, but it seems Dan Trachtenberg is trying to bring all the previous Predator movies into canon, which is why we saw Naru and the Flintlock in Killer of Killers. Can his ship swim? Surprisingly enough, the Predator ship can actually swim underwater. In one of the scenes, Torres leads the Predator into an active war zone, and the ship takes a huge hit from a cannon in an aircraft carrier, after which it goes down. Torres believed that the Predator was gone for good, but no, it was not. Heat-seeking grappling harpoon. The Cybernetic Predator in Killer of Killers doesn't rely on brute strength alone. One of its most effective tools is a weapon I'm calling the heat-seeking grappling harpoon. Built to target aircraft mid-flight, the weapon homes in on heat signatures before launching a steel tether to tear through metal and drag its prey out of the sky. Over the Atlantic, this harpoon takes down an entire US squadron. Commander Vandy leads a follow-up mission, but only he and Torres survive, barely. Before takeoff, Vandy examines one of these harpoons pulled from the wreckage. The moment the plane's engine flares, the weapon locks on and fires, tearing into the jet like it's paper. Throughout the story, this same device keeps showing up, pinning jets, ripping fuselages apart, and snapping wings off like twigs. It's equal parts anchor, spear, and magnetized death line. You can call it what you want, but it's probably the last thing most pilots ever see. Net Orb. The Net Orb isn't new if you've seen Prey, but the version used by the Cybernetic Predator in Killer of Killers is scaled up to monstrous proportions. At first glance, it looks like a metallic orb. No obvious trigger, no blade, no shine. Once launched, though, it explodes into a mesh of high tensile wire designed to constrict and slice its target. In this case, not a body, but an entire fighter jet. The net tightens around the plane mid-air, shearing through the fuselage, and by the time it pulls tight, the pilot's already gone, dismembered, clean. It's another heat seeker, so the Predator isn't aiming. He's letting the plane's engine do the work for him. The tech might be similar to the net gun from Predator 2, but this thing moves like it's hunting on its own. Smart disc with heated ropes. The disc comes back, but it's got upgrades. This isn't the same smart weapon from Predator 2. It's been reworked, fitted with heated rope-like tendrils that lash out mid-flight. Whether these cords are made of energy or some hyper-alloy filament isn't clear, but what they do is unmistakable. They shoot out, wrap tight, and rip through whatever they hit. Same result as the wire net orb. One moment it's spinning mid-air, the next it's carving jets like roast meat. The Predator doesn't even need to finish the job himself. He throws the disc, lets the ropes do their work, and moves on to the next target. That's all in this one, guys. See you around in the next one. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.